ഇന്നലെയുമിന്നുമല്ലേ കൂടെയുള്ളവൻ. Yes, Abel, you can begin now.
Okay, that was a nice song.
Thank you, though.
So Jen was singing a song, guys, if you
Yeah.
all do not know. But on that note, welcome back to Boomer Live once again. We are here because India has won a major one-day match here against West Indies. A massive, massive win for India against a strong West Indies, two-time world champions. And of course, it's always tough to defeat them whenever you travel there. And the two-time world champions were bundled out for 114. And the two-time world champions, India, defeat the two-time world champions West Indies by 5 wickets. Now, I love the strategy which Indians use. Now, often we always say top order fails and India in trouble. Now we are saving our top order. We are sending the soldiers first. The king, the queen, everybody in the batting order, like the chess game, is going to be preserved for the main attack. That's why we're going to send, even next time, what's going to happen is Mukesh Kumar is going to bat number three. And I think Umran Malik should bat number four. And for me, even Kuldeep should bat number five. Virat Kohli can bat number 10 if he wants to.
I think even we should also probably for the take of death bowling try Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma as our opening bowlers.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very good idea. Rohit Sharma obviously has an IPL hat trick,
No, I don't
and
believe that in bowling there. I think that's very disrespectful.
I don't think so. I think with the new ball, Virat Kohli can swing the ball and ball a bit of leg spin
Yeah.
as well. So interesting choice. So I think this is the way to go. It's called the flip ball, where everything is flipped on its
Yeah.
head.
It's called a Dravid ball. Everything
Yeah.
is turned on its head.
Is it the rabbit ball or is it the row ball?
It's a row ball. जीत गए हम भी जीत गए आप भी जीत गए आज खुशी मनाना था ठीक है पाकिस्तान भी बहुत अच्छी तरीके से जीत गए थे आज which means they're on top of the WTC at this point.
Yeah.
If the WTC tables are close, India versus Pakistan final, who wants that?
I mean, that would be a very interesting proposal, but then most likely what's going to happen is Time Shafid is going to run through Indian batting order. So
Yeah,
it's going to happen in Lords again, if I'm not wrong.
yeah,
So yeah, the rain's going to come in, Shine Shafid is going to find a swing, and boom, India are out
yeah,
again.
yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, great win for Pakistan. They folded the Sri Lankan batters and then just threw them into the garbage. That's
Yeah,
pretty much
true,
what
true,
happened.
true.
But coming back to the game, though, Abel, one thing for sure, as we predicted, Ishan Kishan played, but not what we predicted. He opened the batting today, scored a very important match winning 50. You would have to say,
Yeah.
utilized the new ball, ensured that
Yeah.
he scored half the runs. On the other hand, I genuinely don't know what is happening. I mean, I really hope this is not a batting order for the One Day World Cup.
I understand why he did this, but Sandeep, how did you enjoy today's match? It was West Indies who were put on to bat for a 50 overs match, I believe, but they took it as a 20-over game, got it in 23 overs rather. But Kuldeep Yadav had a fun day. I think Kuldeep Yadav versus any other, I think especially against West Indies, he loves playing against them. He gets the ball and he feels like they're a bunch of school kids and he runs through them more often than not.
Yeah, I think it was a one-sided game because India were sort of not sending in their prime batters like you spoke. Virat Kohli would have probably come in at number 8, number 10 or number 11 like Bradman did against England. So I think it was a reverse batting order, and then I totally think that West Indies plays 3 overs too many because I really thought they'll get bundled out within the 20 overs. India will have to improve their bowling, I think, because if you can't bundle this West Indian opposition for within 20 overs, you are not doing your job. And I mean, Umran Malik 3 overs, 17 runs, did not pick up a wicket. Mukesh Kumar 5 overs, 22 runs. Shardul Thakur and then apart from Umran Malik, everybody chipped in, picked up wickets,
Yeah.
especially the spinners. Talking about Kuldeep Yadav, I think right now he's in that sort of form. No matter which team or which opponent you bring, probably the figures won't be this pleasing, but he'll still give you those 2-3 wickets every game. He has done so consistently for the past 1.5 years whenever he has got that opportunity.
Yeah.
So I think it was a great call to pick him ahead of Yuzvendra Chahal. And everybody predicted Ishan Kishan playing ahead of Sanju Samson. And I think it was a smart decision from Rohit Sharma to hold himself back and see how the spear opener, so as to say, goes about his business. But
Absolutely.
then again, would you rather have a Ishan Kishan opening as a spear opener, or would you try him at number 4 or number 5, or play a Sanju Samson?
Exactly. Now that is where I'm coming to. So the major discussion which we had yesterday was Ishan Kishan at number 4. Did we do our preparation for the World Cup any good by sending Ishan Kishan to where he loves batting? Now 50 looks extremely good on the card, But where did he bat? He batted as the first position. His average batting as an opener is totally different in comparison with his average batting at number 4-5. So you have not done any good to any of your preparatory things to the World Cup. Suryakumar Yadav batting at number 3. That was again ridiculous for me. I know it was a small score. You want to give your batters a lot more time. There's a hit out in the middle, but it doesn't do any good because you are just making a mockery out of the entire batting order. And when it matters the most, can Ishan Kishan do it at number 4 or Surya Kumar can he do it at number 6?
Yeah, I mean, Abel, that's where, cricket is not as flexible as some of the other sports, because look at one of the best of teams who have done well over the years. Everyone had a role, and that role never changed. I mean, positions, batting positions, I have no issues with you changing this batting position, because you wouldn't throw in a Virat Kohli with 10 overs to go and maybe 100 to win. You would throw in a Virat Kohli probably if there's no better option, but if you have an MS Dhoni sitting next to you, or if you have probably, I mean, just going outside, I mean, probably in Hardik Pandya, you would send them in rather. So that's where roles matter so much. And today, I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm really flabbergasted. That's the
I was
best
disappointed Shardul Thakur came in to bat at number 6. I was expecting him to come in at number 3. If you are using him as a pinch hitter, might as well use him properly.
I agree with you. Totally.
I mean, I at this point in time, I think India was like, one of those lives we did where we just talked, nothing. I mean, it was just us and our random cricket thoughts. Today, I think that was the Rohit Sharma phase of it. Rohit was like, it just seemed like, he had a bowl set out in the dressing room, and he picked the player, and whoever's name he read went out to bat, except for Ishan Kishan. That is, I think him opening the batting and Shubman Gill opening the batting, probably the only thing that was set. Everything else was just random.
Yeah, I mean, that's about from Indian batting, to be very honest, because nothing much to talk about that. You just saw at least West Indies picked up 5 wickets, which is very good. That's a good fight from them. It should have been a complete roll down, but of course, Indian batters played some poor cricketing shots, I would say, so going after the spinners, and especially Surya Kumar Yadav again trying to get out by playing the sweep, which was not quite pleasing to the eye. Hardik Pandya getting run out there. Rohit Sharma getting a chance to bat. Ultimately, that is very good. But other than that, let's talk about West Indies batting, because it's been a disappointment since the World Cup qualifiers. I mean, we have not really spoken about it because we've been too India centric, but West Indies is in some serious turmoil at this point, especially as a 50-over nation team, because as a test nation, I can still understand there's some glimpses somewhere here and there. T20, they're a very good team. But as a one-day team, they've been absolutely off the radar. They have gone below the ranks of any associate nations as well.
No, this was absolutely horrendous for them, because it just seemed like they forgot how to play spin. I mean, I can understand Kuldeep Yadav is a great spinner. It's not easy to pick him off the hand, especially now that he started bowling quicker, and he's also started to ball cross seam, which means now you have to pick him off the pitch. You can't really pick him. Anyway, he was very good at disguising his bowling, his googlies and his leg spinners.
Yeah.
Now that he's bowling cross seam, you can't pick them off the seam as well. So you have to play him off the pitch at a quicker pace, which is great. That's the reason why we labeled him as India's number 1 spinner going ahead into the one-day series. But one thing for sure, this West Indies team is lacking a lot, not just technicality. I think they also lacked fight today, because it just seemed like, they surrendered to Kuldeep Yadav, and that's what really worries me, Abel and Sandeep, because you don't want any team to surrender like they did.
But even if you look, the majority of the wickets, I know Kuldeep Yadav picked up a lot of wickets, but majority of the wickets were picked up by Jadeja in the top.
Yeah.
It's just, I can understand, because tailenders were the ones who primarily fell to Kuldeep Yadav. But if you look at the majority of the wickets, Jadeja picked up 3 there. Openers falling cheaply once again.
Yeah.
Mukesh Kumar getting the wicket. Hardik Pandya getting the wicket to start off with. Shardul Thakur bowling a beauty to, I think it was Brandon King who got out through the gates. But yeah, I'm just saying that, the way in which these people played, I think they genuinely will be concerned with the fact that they are unable to put up a fight against any bowler at this point. They have no structure at all. Shimran Hetmeyer again looked like he just wasn't there. The ball
No,
was
I think
turned.
honestly, I don't think that West Indies had a bad batting lineup. I think it's just their inability to play proper spin.
Yeah, but
And-
I think, Sandeepani, the issue here for me is the fact that if you look at this lineup, probably the only batter you would say who played this match like a one-day match was Shea Hope.
Yeah.
Everyone
And
else
that
had
is where
played
I was
either
coming
like
to. I
a
think
test-
I understand that Shea Hope is given the captaincy, but that does not mean that he'll have to sacrifice his opening slot, because I think Shea Hope at the top of the order was a blessing for West Indies,
then
and I think
where would you put Brandon King or Kyle Mayers? They're both
I'll just
openers.
I'll just drop Brandon King down the order because I think
Yeah.
he has batted for West Indies at number 3, number 4. And anyway, if you
I
are
have an excellent
taking,
name for you guys. He's a little wild card. He still plays for the MI New York. I think he's still got enough to.
Kyron Pollard, is it?
Yeah, he still can probably contribute for another 5 years of West Indies.
come on, man,
Yeah.
Bad at
I
that
think
position.
somebody playing for LA Knight Riders can do a better job, be
Of
it
course.
Andrew
Like,
Who's
Russell
that guy?
or a
Who
Sunil
gets injured?
Narine.
Andre Russell, yeah.
He gets injured, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He's pretty fast though.
Andrew Russell
But yeah, I mean,
is in
he's pretty
great
fast
form.
to go to the hospital bed. I mean, Sandipani, you have to agree, even as a KKR fan, he has a bad knee, and you can't expect him to be playing.
But I'm just saying,
cricket at
Kyron
that level.
Pollard at number 5 for any team is a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I think
That's-
as a batter, just put him in there. At this point in time, it just looks. But I think the reason why Kyron Pollard doesn't play for West Indies is because he had a falling out with the board.
yeah.
But that's something that seems to be a very. I mean, it's a trend at this point
And I
in time.
also
where
feel that
every
once
time-
Nicholas Puran is back, we won't be talking about the middle order because Nicholas
Yeah.
Puran,
But
Robin
even
Powell,
with Nicholas
Shimron
Puran,
Hetmeyer.
I understand there is Hetmeyer and Puran there at number 5, number 6. But if you look at some other players, right? For example, someone like Robin Powell has been the biggest disappointment. Last year, he got off to a beautiful start, hence he got that big major IPL contract as well.
I think
But
he has
since
just been
then-
discovered. Robin Powell has just been discovered in the IPL, and his the way in which he plays spin. If you talk about Robin Powell, the only impactful knock that you will remember of Robin Powell in the IPL was that knock that he played with David Warner.
Yeah.
Absolutely dismantled Sunrisers Hyderabad. Umran Malik
Yeah.
was on the receiving
Yeah,
end
yeah.
of the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, but his performance against spin and even a proper seam is absolutely poor. I think Robin Powell's technique needs severe improvement.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And that's the reason why Sandeep Mani, again, I feel that he isn't a player for one day format because you know how it works, right? In
Isn't a
cricket,
player
the
for
longer the
any format for that matter, Jaren. Isn't a player for any format.
No, I
Well,
think T20 format, yes, because he can have better impact. Because the longer the format, the more aggressive a bowler gets. I mean, Test cricket, for instance, is the toughest place where.
But then again,
your
if you are
team
giving
is
me
really forced
one
to
out
be
of,
facing-
if you are giving me odds of 1 out of every 12 game, performance of 1 out of every 12 games, then I would rather have Dashun Gunatilaka in my team.
yeah,
Oh.
he's a good player. I don't understand
Yeah,
why.
but I
why
think
there's
for
a
me,
lot of flack.
Sandeep with someone like Robin Powell, if he can face 10 deliveries, smack at least 3 sixes, all of a sudden he's made a good impact in T20 cricket. But the moment you do that in a one day format where you have 300 deliveries, that's. I mean, you're not playing enough deliveries at all. You're probably playing. I mean, you're not even playing 10. I mean, 10% of the
Yeah.
delivery. So that's where Robin Powell is going to struggle as a one day player.
Yeah.
It just seems like right now West Indies have just put in placeholders for their one day cricket,
Yeah.
and that's what was exposed at the World Cup qualifiers. So Darren Sammy is off to a rough start as a
Yeah.
white ball format coach. I think this team belongs in the T20 in the smaller format, probably even a T10 format than a T20 format. But one day is
Honestly,
not.
I feel that Darren Sammy was a coach of this West Indian time from when he was playing.
Yeah,
Because
he never contributed much anyway.
he did not contribute with the bat.
But you know
never
what?
used
He
to
was an
contribute with the ball.
excellent captain. Let's be very honest with that.
Yeah, excellent
Let-
captain. But that's
you know,
about
I'll
it.
just take some comments before we go there. Aisha, there's been a lot of comments about Aisha because one thing which we get with Aisha whenever she's on the stream is she's gonna be there with the comments. She's right up there with the comments game. Imagine India Pakistan final. I mean, we really wish that's one
I
thing.
mean, it's been a long time since India
Yeah,
Pakistan have
played a
played
final.
together.
Yeah,
And we've had some of the most exciting moments in Test cricket when India and Pakistan have faced each other. So-
यार मेरे उर्दू भी खराब है और इंग्लिश भी अब तो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड करो मैं क्या बोलती है या वी रियली अंडरस्टैंड यू आई मीन वी बीन वेरी गुड एंड संदीप ने तेरे पीछे कोई है तो देख लेना कुछ जेरन और एबल आप साथ में रहती है आई मीन हम आसपास रहते हैं तो साथ में
yeah,
करते हैं
we
कभी
meet once in a while.
या कभी कभी
And
तो मिलता है
what makes people think that I can't see what is there behind me? I mean,
Super
Maybe
the-
camera
possibly because it's paranormal.
Subrata
and,
Bhatterji waves. So hi. Soharda Bhattacharji. I'm hoping you're doing well. Yeah, you have. Oh well, your first time. I'm just having him on the stream. So hi,
Yeah.
I hope you're doing good. So yeah, talking about which, let's talk about the West Indies as well because for me, I personally feel this team needs a lot of things to go right in the domestic setup for them to do well in international cricket,
yeah.
and which is not doing well at this point. I mean, you will see
I mean,
names. But they're not thereabouts just
Even
to be an
their
international player.
domestic circuit has been plagued by a lot of issues. Like one of the major factors that the domestic circuit faces is the fact that in case of India, for instance, the states play together, but On the other hand, in case of West Indies, what happens is they have countries playing as in the domestic circuit. Guyana as a team, Trinidad as a team.
Yeah.
That's one issue. Secondly, the probably the bigger issue is the nepotism that's happening within those ranks. There have been so many instances where it's been found that a player has paid an extra amount of money, or basically auctioning the spots in the domestic side. That never really that really never helps, when you're trying to
Yeah.
nurture talent. It only helps if a player has deep pockets, but then on international cricket that never really matters. So those are some of the things that are really plaguing those the domestic circuit,
Yeah.
and that's really showing up. It took a while for it to show up, those fault lines, but now that they're here to stay, and that's what's really hurting the West Indies cricket.
And I'm very surprised that they
No,
went on.
and honestly, I don't see this West Indian side qualify for the 2027 World Cup as well, because it's
Yeah.
only going downhill from here, because you have
Yeah.
at least you have these experienced players who are soon going to hang up their boots.
I also
Uh,
think West Indies cricket as a whole will be stopped very soon. That's a sad
Correct.
reality, but then
Yeah.
West Indies cricket is going to be stopped very soon because ultimately they're not a country. They're a group of islands put together, and if at all you're going to see any cricket team, it might be a particular island nation who might just come out, where it could be
Yeah.
Jamaica or Trinidad and Tobago, where a lot of people might want to migrate. Rather than that, West Indies team as a whole might just stop. They're just right now playing as for the sake of it. And that's why I really feel bad. India should just go in there. I don't know what practice India is going to get. India should have traveled to maybe Afghanistan or Bangladesh and so where it's going to be much more tight competition. But nonetheless,
Bangladesh
we
would
are
have been a tough competition, because the women's team really found it very difficult to win.
I think India have
any
lost
of
the last
series.
2 one-day series in Bangladesh, if I'm not
No,
wrong.
recently I think he won.
We
one.
lost one. We lost.
Yeah, I think
No,
we
no,
haven't won.
The,
I think
this
ever
series
since
was tied.
Mustafizur Rahman
I
has
think this
debuted, we
series was
haven't won a
tied.
series.
Sorry.
India won one game, Bangladesh won one game, and the last game was tied. So we had 1-1 this time around.
Yeah, I think ever since Mustafizur
No, it
Rahman's
wasn't the.
debate,
No, I'm not talking about the women's game. I'm talking about the men's.
That's Indian. Yeah. India lost. India lost
India
2-1.
lost the series where.
Despite a
But
double
since-
century and a
ever since
century from
Mustafizur
Kohli.
Rahman's debut, that India has not won a series there.
Yeah, from what I remember, yes, India haven't really won a series there.
Because that was the first time in a long time that India got bundled out.
But India hasn't played a lot of seasons in Bangladesh either. That was in 2015 we're talking about. But yeah, Bangladesh is always a tough opposition to travel to, and they are very good with the home support and whatever they get. And the pitches are also very tricky there. That's
And
why I
very,
think India would
very
have-
good with the umpiring support as well.
Very nice with the umpiring support.
Sandhimani, be careful. You may be banned by ICC here.
Yeah.
Last pass.
I mean, I'll have to uproot some stumps and abuse the umpires to get banned.
शुक्र तुम मेरे आसपास नहीं पागल हो जाती. Yeah, definitely. We would have. But thank you, Aisha, for the comments once again. But nonetheless, let's finally talk about the next one day.
Yeah.
I really want India to win the toss.
Is
and bat
there anything
first.
to talk about for the next one day? Did India
No, I
or
want
West
India to
Indies
bat
give us
first.
anything to talk
Because
about?
what is the point of chasing against West Indies? You have to put yourself in tough positions sometimes. So bat first. I know you want to win every game. I don't think the idea for preparation to a World Cup should be winning every game.
Yeah.
It should be your best position of trying yourself and putting yourself in tough position. Now you're in a World Cup final or a semi-final where you lose the toss in Wankhede or in Ahmedabad, where you put
But
to bat
Abel,
first.
that is exactly what you expect the Indian team to do. That is why it was so surprising from Rohit Sharma to sort of opt to, or
Yeah,
I mean,
This has
not
been the
even-
case. Even the
Yeah.
T20, leading up to that T20 World Cup, I was very surprised. Most of the series leading up to that, India were so defensive. India were like, okay, no, we're going to chase because we want to win the series. And what happened in the World Cup semi-final? You have put to bat first and you just scored 169 and the other team chased you with 10 wickets in hand. And now that's what I'm talking about. Owen Morgan in I think it was in 2017 or 16, where they toured South Africa, where he told that I'm going to drop myself because I want to try David Malan. I want to see how he goes about it.
Yeah.
And he told that we are going to try put ourselves in different positions to experiment ourselves how we're going to react under it. I mean, if you can't do that against West Indies, I don't think you can do it ever. And I know you want to save your faces as a bilateral series. You don't want to lose a game. But for what? Ultimately, your preparation is the World Cup.
I agree with you there, Abel, because it's not even like it's WTC here. It's not even like the Super Cup exists anymore, where you have to win certain amount of matches to qualify. And plus, you would expect that, whatever challenge this West Indies, it feels really sad for me as a cricket fan for me to be saying this, but whatever challenge this West Indies team throws at the Indian team, you would expect them to come out on top. But today it just felt like, this is just another series where there's a long time coming before another World Cup, where to the truth to be told, it's I think what 10 months away if
Yeah.
I'm not wrong. So that's where very surprised. You have to look at bilateral series as bilateral series.
Yeah.
But I think also able what for me what really comes in there is that the Indian fans as well are ruthless.
Yeah.
And many a times if we lose a series, we forget or we don't see the finer details that could help us win a World Cup.
Yeah.
We're rather focused on winning bilateral series as well. So as fans, probably we need to be a little bit more less critical of the losing part, but rather look at finer details. But then, all that aside, a management should know how to look at future goals and the bigger picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Any update on the Indian seamer? So, from whatever I grasped today, is that Jasprit Bumrah is going to make a comeback in August. Mohammad Shami will be fit. Mohammad Shami has been rested for the series, as you all know. Mohammad Siraj has been rested because he had a sore ankle, what the BCS statement says. So, you give chance to Umran Malik, Mukesh Kumar, of course, today, and Shardul Thakur
But
played.
then again, Mukesh Kumar was a surprise for me because once again, if you have to give a chance to a player or a simmer, I think with Jaydev Unadkat in the squad, you
No,
would
I
have
think
had a left
Mukesh
arm simmer.
Kumar. I would have taken Mukesh Kumar.
Mukesh Kumar in ODIs, honestly, Mukesh Kumar in ODIs, Mukesh
What
Kumar
about
in
Jaydev Unadkat in
T20s.
white ball format?
But I still feel that he would have given you that additional variety with the left arm seam coming in.
I still
at
think
the
a
top of the
bowler
order.
which we're not trying in one-day cricket is Arshdeep Singh, and I don't know why. I still think he's a much better bowler, and he should be India's fourth seamer if at all you're picking a
Yeah,
fourth seamer for the
absolutely. I
World
mean,
Cup.
he had a few bad games. I think one day cricket, if I'm not wrong, and that's
No,
where probably. But then,
I don't think he had a bad one day game, but I think he had lost a lot of rhythm in the T20
yeah,
games that he
but you
played.
know what? For me, Arshdeep Singh is probably the next best thing for India as a fast bowler. If
Absolutely,
you
absolutely. I
nurture
think
him
we
right,
have been.
we've had. I think ever since Zahir Khan, we've not had a very good left arm fast bowler, and he could be the one.
And that's what really, really annoys me, the fact that you don't want to go to Arshdeep Singh for no reason. And maybe you could have tried someone there, here or there at least. But nonetheless, we'll talk about Pakistan. Yeah, so talking about Pakistan with Sri Lanka, it's been a one-sided series. Pakistan played some really good cricket. I have to give credit to Babar for leading this team, and he's given, especially the likes of Abdullah Shafiq scoring the run. South Shakil has been a massive, massive bonus for Pakistan in the WTC, or from the last WTC cycle, rather. The way he scored runs against New Zealand, and I think he played against England as well there. And he was always there. If you look at South Shakil, he's 28 years old. It's not a new name in Pakistan domestic circuit. He really grinded his way into the Pakistan team. He scored a lot of runs. Even Salman, for that example, or even Abdullah Shafiq. They're not youngsters anymore. They've really got a lot of experience playing in Khyber Azam Trophy and whatnot. And to add to the mix of Shaheen and everybody else, and that makes them a very good team. But Pakistan, again, the biggest challenge for them will really matter when they're going to play against some big teams, because you saw what happened when England toured or New Zealand toured last time. But for Pakistan, this WTC cycle is not easy because they're going to be touring Australia, South Africa, one of the toughest WTC cycles you will get. Even for India, it's not going to be easy at all. But for Pakistan, especially after what really happened in the last WTC cycle, it was going to be. But there are some really good, you know, positives as to the kind of attacking cricket they play. For example,
Yeah.
Shan Masood, for that example, has been batting at a very good strike rate, better than he bats in T20 cricket rather. He bats in Test cricket,
But I
and
think I think the biggest positive for Pakistan has been in the past year or so has been the opening contributions from Abdullah Shafiq and Imamul Haq. I think Imamul Haq
yeah,
towards the later end of last year and this year hasn't really been at his best. But once again, Abdullah Shafiq has a phenomenal average, and I think if you look at his performance over the past 1 year or so, I think he averages close to 70. Has scored four centuries if I'm not wrong.
yeah.
And he also got a crucial century against Sri Lanka in the game that Pakistan won last year as well in Pakistan. So
Correct.
I
And
think, yeah,
But for me, Sandimani also, and what it really proves is that if you give good wickets to this Pakistan team, they can win matches.
yeah,
That's where because if you look at the record, what really hurt them the last WTC cycle is the kind of pitches they prepared for the opposition. That really hurt them in terms of their WTC points. Now, ever since WTC has
but this was not at home
began,
again. This
this
was
is not
again.
at home again. That's my point. Now, what really has start this trend, right? That Pakistan has shown ever since I mean, not Pakistan, but world cricket has shown is that teams have started preparing uber advantage for their teams when it comes to pitches. Now, England has been preparing flatter pitches. India has been preparing spicier spinning pitches because they know that's the
Spicy.
best way. Yeah. That's the best way for them to get points, regardless of if their batters score
The
runs or
best
not.
way for them to
That's
get
where-
points is win the toss.
So I'll tell you, I mean, everybody has got their own modus operandi in
But
terms of
that's
doing
where
it.
I'm very disappointed in Pakistan. They've not prepared not the Pakistan team, but rather the Pakistan board and the ones who are in charge of preparing pitches. I think it's time that they prepare competitive pitches because
Yeah.
this team is genuinely good, and it's good to see Pakistan Test cricket come up again today as well. What was really nice for me to see was going through the match was it the reverse swing side of it, the pioneers of reverse swing. That reverse swing came back again, and Sri Lanka had no answer to someone like Naseem Shah, the fast bowlers who were reverse swinging.
And mind you, this was a very experienced Sri Lankan side. You had Kushal Mendis, you had
Yeah.
Angelo Matthews,
It's-
Dinesh
and it's
Chandimal,
Sri Lankan
and
side-
Dhananjay De Silva.
I mean, I'm not saying this is not a bad Sri Lankan team at
Yeah.
all, and you've really made a mockery out of. That's why you shouldn't really disregard this win, whatever it says. You can still say it's Sri Lanka 2-0,
I mean,
but you
this
have
is
to
the
still
same-
say it's a good one.
This is the same Sri Lanka able that
I mean, we can't
was-
disregard it because we couldn't defeat West Indies 2-0.
Yeah, that's because of rain, of course. But nonetheless, I have to also give credit to the Sri Lankan team at a lot of stages because they went to New Zealand, got a win there.
Yeah.
They level season against Australia last year at home.
at the peak of their powers.
Yeah, so you have to know that this is not a bad Sri Lankan side like you had a face, but this, okay, it's not the best Sri Lankan side either. But for Pakistan, again, they shouldn't be overjoyed with what happened here. It's good that they got this result, but their challenge is going to remain Australia.
Yeah.
Can they go out there and play against this top quality Australian side in their backyard? They've never won a test match since 1994 there. So
Yeah.
it's tough. It's not
No,
even.
but
Even before
I
all
still
three of us were
feel
born.
no matter how much experience this Pakistani team has, I think they are going to face trouble away from subcontinent conditions. I think if you go to
Yeah.
Australia,
Yeah, I mean,
this Pakistani
correct.
batting order is going to suffer.
So that's where someone like Abdullah Shafiq, Shan Masood,
Yeah.
Saad Shakil, all these guys who scored, Agha Salman, who scored runs here, who scored runs in Pakistan as well. That's where they have to really step up because it's been a long time since the Pakistani batter has taken on the Australians. So
Yeah.
that's
And
gonna be
also,
an
honestly,
exciting
Jaren,
thing
it
to
has
watch.
been a long time since the Pakistani bowlers have done a great job down under. Because
Absolutely,
you see
absolutely.
players like even Shaheen Shah Afridi in his previous tour absolutely suffered. Marnus Labuschagne, David Warner, they were scoring runs for fun last time around.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, again, it really worked for them just going with this 4-ball theory here. They had Abrar Ahmed, who's a good spinner. But can they go out there with that theory in Australia and defeat Australia, which is
no.
going to be tough? See, it's never easy to win in Australia. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Let me be very honest with that. It's very few teams have done it, and I'm very happy that India did it not once but twice.
Yeah.
But talking about but there's a new challenge for Babar Azam. I think now everything looks good. Now the focus is going to definitely shift on the one-day side of things because you have to prepare for the World Cup, and Pakistan are traveling to India now. And Asia Cup is there before that. So Test cricket will take a backseat for the next 6 months. Even for India, not playing any Test cricket till South Africa in December. Same for Pakistan
right
as
after
well.
the
A huge break.
Ashes gets over, I think we
The
have
Ashes
3
get
more
over in
days
a
of
couple of days
exciting
where Australia have gone off a good start. They're getting England all out for 283. We'll talk about that tomorrow rather. But nonetheless, it's been a good day to talk about a lot of stuff in cricket. That's about it from us. Good night, all of you. And do not forget to check our premium contest with Boomer 11 once again. If you haven't already downloaded our app, do check out our app Boomer 11 on Play Store and Apple App Store as well. And also check out our predictor feature where you can predict your scores, predict your favorite player scores, and win prizes there. It's all for absolutely free of cost. And also give a follow to our Instagram page and also subscribe to this channel if you're new here and click the bell icon so whenever we go live or post a video, you get the notification. And you can join us in the community as well. Have a good time, all of you. See you all very soon.